Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to another edition of the Tuesday Night Flight, presented to you by the Sideline Junkies. It's the big guy KG, sitting in with none other than the incomparable. Ladies say he's irresistible, insatiable. Fortunate to have you, girl, Midnight Rider. Also, we got rolling the boss, BJ, the man that writes all the checks. Make sure we got enough equipment around to say something about these things. And he is going to be in and out tonight because he is on the road and on special assignment. But he decided, hey, I'm still going to join the fracas that is the Tuesday Night Flight. So first and foremost, gentlemen, how y'all feeling?
I'm doing good, man. Just finished up the day. Came out to a nice little scratch on the side of the car. I guess they get the opportunity to get the other side today because of where I'm parked at. So maybe I'll have matching scratches. I don't know.
No good. Let me say this. I am a lot calmer than I was Sunday night. I am feeling good. I'm glad to be here. Don't mind me. I am processing the link to share it all over every platform. So if you are in here now, go ahead and share that thing with your family, your friends, get everybody in here because we about to get it in. We about to really go for it. So let's start this thing off right. First off, congratulations is in order for the LSU Lady Tigers. They won the women's national championship 102-85 over Iowa. Angel Reese, 15-10, named most outstanding player of the tournament. What is this? This is Kim Mulkey's fourth title. So she gets to hang the good old 4. So congratulations to her. And whoever her stylist is, whoever her tailor is, they had her looking bomb as on or what the whole entire tournament. I just want to say that. Caitlin Clark had a brilliant tournament. She had 30 points in the championship game, just wasn't enough. She needed a little bit more help from the rest of the squad, but she still played outstanding. Not just this game, but every game of the tournament. So did Angel Reese, doubles all game. Every game throughout the tournament. I'm going to give it to the Midnight Rider. What did you think about this championship game if you watched it?
I thought it was a well-played ball game. I thought the ladies represented well for ladies basketball. I think we're getting to a point where it's starting to trend up where there's more interest or more people are taking interest in the game, and which is a plus, and you can't help but enjoy. I've always kind of had an eye on college basketball, especially the women's side. So this was a treat to see two really good teams play. The only problem was LSU was just on one. They had the young lady that I think she scored 17 points all tournament, and she ended up scoring 21 just in the first half. And once you got that, it kind of made it more difficult for I think Iowa to get their footing. So I'm not sure. It was just one of those situations where we got a good game. I thought Caitlin Clark deserved to be the most outstanding player of the tournament just because of the run she had, the number of 30-point ball games. And I know Angel Reese had the doubles, but there was just, I don't know, it was just something about Clark that felt like she almost did the Danny Manning, almost a Carmelo Anthony, where she was just a one-man band and they were along for the ride. So she kind of just got everybody going, got everything started. And at a certain point, she just realized she just didn't have enough guns in the fight. And then they just started losing. And then, the things happened down the stretch, which I know we'll talk about. We'll get into some of that later on. So those are just the things that I think happened in that game. Beauty of it, I saw that they had a 9.9 million viewership. which puts as one of the highest, the most watched shows or most watched games for the women's side in terms of the title game. Probably any women's event is probably up there in the top. You had great storylines with Clark, with Mulkey trying to get her fourth. You had the story of Reese, transferring in from Maryland, so the local ties were there. The game had a lot of story. There was much more to it. There was just a lot of stuff for them to just go ahead and take in, and you could just go any direction with the story that you wanted to go.
And see what you said right there, how you focused on not what the media decided to focus on. You focused on the actual storylines of these games, this tournament, the way Angel Reese played well. And I thought that Caitlin Clark would have been MOP as well, because she had 2 40-point games, but also she has more points in the tournament than anybody, man or woman.
Right.
She's, and the thing is, guess what? She's coming back next year. I
think they both come back.
Yes, because Angel Reese is only a sophomore.
Right.
I thought she was a senior. She's a sophomore. And the controversy that came out of that championship game, one thing I noticed about this whole entire tournament, every lady in that tournament, don't matter what team they was playing on, they was talking their shit. And I loved it. I love it. Because Angel Reese was giving them the too small when she was dogging them in the middle. Caitlin Clark was giving the you can't see me. And the thing is, all of this controversy that came out on Sunday night about what Angel Reese did, and Caitlin Clark addressed it today, and she said, that's what we do. And her response is what I love. What I'm going to address this one time. Well, this is the last time I'll address it. To all the haters, all the people that, well, why you got to bring color into it? But you made a big deal about it when Angel Reese did it. Well, she followed her almost to the locker room. What you can do is admit that you've never played basketball on the street top before, that you've never played blacktop basketball. Admit that. Stay in your fancy gyms and your country clubs and you play ball there where they don't talk trash. Admit that you getting butthurt because your feelings was hurt. Obviously, Caitlin Clark's feelings wasn't hurt. And I give praise to both women and every other woman that played in that tournament as well. I give big praise to them. But what you're not going to do as grown men and women is sit here and disrespect these young girls. I'm sorry, these young women that are 19, 20 years old. And you're in your 40s. They're half your age and you're disrespecting them, calling them classless idiots. It was I can't remember the other one, but think about that as if that was your kid. Would you want somebody calling your child that? And don't say, well, it's a black thing, it's a white thing, because it's not. Think about that third grade team that was taunting everybody. Then they came to DC and got their asses whooped. They were black, white, Hispanic, and everything else, taunting everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a thing that goes around in basketball. But when it comes back on you and you get it, that's what you get. When Caitlin Clark against South Carolina, when she waved the girl off because she wasn't going to go out there, she immediately passed up. She had no confidence in her shot.
She broke it.
That was that. I would have took the shot. And once I drained it, I would have left that thing up there and said, and what? And what would she have did? She would have left her open again. And she may have hit it 1 out of 10, but still, that's what you do. That's what balling is. See, that's the problem. You're so used to people playing basketball, you forget what it is to hoop. You forget what it is to ball. You can play basketball all day long, but you forget what it is to hoop. Them girls was hooping. That's what they was doing.
But that's just not a basketball thing. That's a sports thing and life thing, general period. That's not what that trash talking. I mean, you trash talk at the job sometimes, depending on who you work with and where you work. But this is This is the participation trophy lifestyle and generation we're in, and these people are complaining are the same people that are giving their kids seventh place trophies and telling them they're just as good as the first place. And that's what we're getting away from. And that's the sad part. You're not as good. You're not. Your first place is first place. Champions are champions. If you Kevin probably be the only one remember. You tell me the last 10 runner-ups in the NBA Finals and the Super Bowl. You can't. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. You know, and what Caitlin said is spot on. That's what we do. That's what we do. We talk junk. We talk trash. You know, and just to see the backlash of that, just kind of like you just sit back and you just, it's just like, yeah, we got way bigger problems than this. This is just that pimple that's not ready, that keeps popping up. It's in the same spot. You keep putting the hot rag on it to get it. A little bit of it come out, and it's just there, and it's always going to be there because the people that are making this a big deal still don't get it.
I'm gonna say this now, BJ. You know this for a fact. We used to play one-on-one for years, and no matter how bad we talk shit to each other, how bad I lost, because I was on the losing end of a lot of those. It was never a thing of I gotta fight this dude for what he said. It's never been that. Never. It's never been a thing of division. And I think about it, and B, you may not remember this. We used to get so deep into it. We would talk about each other's mother.
Yes,
And we would go, but it was never any hard feelings. Never.
No, it just depends on who you with, and then it doesn't depend on who you with, because my playing days, when I'm playing on the blacktop and playing football, nothing is off limits, and I'm gonna leave that there. Nothing. I don't care what's going on in your family. I'm just one of them people. Nothing's off limits, and I done got in a lot of fights and scrapping because of that. But guess what? Guess who mentally won that? Because I know what I'm doing. And if you do it to me, I know I can take it. Nothing's off limits. But it just depends on, some people can't take that. Some people, aren't, they kind of softies. I'll just say that, it's you got that brotherly love, that brotherly shit talk like me and you would do, and then you got that, these random guys on the court, and they ready to go to their car to get other things, and you talking about their mama. So,
Well, my comeback all the time, even now, somebody be like, well, your mother this and your mother that. My mother's a goddamn saint, and then I'm gonna drop a 3 on you, and I'm going back down court. That's just me. I love it, and I'm gonna tell you after the game, dog, you gotta go a little bit harder, just a little bit harder.
Matter of fact, I'm about to leave my mama a message now and tell her you should call her by first name.
Oh, Lord Jesus, don't snitch. Look, I ain't trying to get in trouble, but lastly,
so there's a subculture that's kind of, I think we're starting to see where the younger generation is starting to take over in a sense. But you still have the older generation writing about it. So you have the younger people playing, but you have a group of people that grew up in an area where, you did the Barry Sanders. You would get a ball to the ref. Not everybody did it because, you had Dion and stuff like that. So it wasn't as big. But now you watch baseball, Joker's bat flipping in the third inning. They in pregame and batting practice doing bat flips. So, and people are getting up celebrating after you steal a base. So the game has changed, and the problem is our reporters haven't. So they see everything as still a problem and an issue. And that's going to be where the rubber meets the road. And at some point, when I guess we get a more diverse, younger group of people reporting on the events, then you'll probably see some of the changes. But there's always talk about, is it too much on the lower level? Because they were talking about those third grade kids that you talked about. There were conversations about, are we doing too much trash talk? I think somebody mentioned it here where there's schools that you can't play games during recess because people started fighting and they couldn't, like, they would trash talk so much that it ended in fights. So the school just banned, like, they stopped having recess because of that. So it's just interesting, like, how we're getting to this point and what we're legislating out of our society. And some of us are the ones that did it when we were young. But now we're managing out of our lives.
That's absolutely true. And the thing is, going back to what BJ said and then tying into what you said, we're in the participation trophy era, and it's never been like that before. And these kids, they don't get to talk trash to each other. They don't get to play at recess. It's to the point now they don't even get to trade lunches anymore. Right. If it was pizza day and you didn't like pizza like that, which is, some kids didn't, you would give me your pizza, I give you my tater tots. I got 2 pizzas, you got 2 tater tots, we good. Or if you was a juice fan, I get a juice and a milk. You give me your milk for your juice. For my juice, we can't do that anymore. And speaking of participation trophy, as much respect as I have for Dr. Jill Biden, for her to say, we got a report on it, for her to say she wanted to invite Iowa as well as LSU to the White House. When have you ever seen the second place finisher in any championship in American sports invited to the White House?
Never.
Don't start it now.
Here's the thing. You got to remember what her background is. She's an educator.
Yeah.
So educators, she believes in let's be fair. Let's give, you said participation trophies. Let's give everybody a chance. It was a good game. Oh, they should come hang out with us too. No, we don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the difference now. The difference is, the people that run these situations don't believe in pure competition and don't believe in, like, there's the winner and everybody else is losers. There's first place, and if you're not first, in the great words of Ricky Bobby, you last.
That's how I was raised.
Yeah.
And that's how I've raised my sons. Like, people say it's abuse because how I made my sons mentally tough when it came to games, I beat the shit out of them. But whether it was video games, playing cards, I didn't give a what the hell it was. I beat the shit out of them. I would beat them so bad. Like, we would play college football. I would beat them so bad, I would make them cry. And I'm like, you pick that control up. You keep playing until you beat me or until I fall asleep. Because that's how I learned. Now, I got Dario, 19, and this dude tries to be an expert at every game he plays. He tries to, he knows he's not going to win them all, but he's trying to be an expert. I'm doing what I got to do. If I'm going to lose, I'm not going to lose by much. Play me again.
You just said a major thing too. You're not going to win them all, and that's part of the lesson. You're not going to win every time. Sometimes you are going to get your ass kicked. You're going to get embarrassed, whether you're on the field, whatever field you're on, baseball, basketball court, football field. You're going to get embarrassed. You're going to get ran over, dunked on.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen, and the sooner you teach them that it's okay to fail, as long as you pick up your chin and be like, all right, what did I do wrong? You start evaluating what I do wrong. How do I not have that happen again? Some things it is what it is when you're playing sports. You're going to catch a screen, a shoulder and the chin, and it just is what it is. You know what I mean? You're going to get hit hard in football. You're going to get dunked on, or you're going to you're going to stumble on a crossover. That's sports. You're going to have a bad game, whether you're the number one team in the country, and you'll get upset, or you're going to get, that stuff happens. So the quicker you teach them that it's okay to fail, get back up, and dust yourself off. But the problem with these kids now and this society now, it's like when I fail, I quit, and and that's it. And I want to take your ball, my ball, and everybody else's ball, and I want to go home. And that's the problem.
I agree with that 1,000%. And I had to learn that at an early age that you can't win them all, because I always thought I was supposed to win them all. So, moving over to the men's tournament, the UConn Huskies. That was my dog in the fight. My dog in the fight. National champs.
We have no proof. We have no proof.
No evidence.
Where's the laptop? Oh my God, I'll have to pull it up. I'll pull it up. Don't worry about it. I got you. Don't worry about it. I got you. Because I do have proof. Thank you very much.
I'm about to go in a bad spot, but I the last show I was on, I was saying the UConn Miami game was the national championship, because whoever UConn played, it's a good story. San Diego State, Florida Atlantic, great story, but you don't have them horses, and Iowa found out with LSU, when you don't have them horses at the end of the game, and you on that last leg, you like, damn, they strong. And that's all you can say. And San Diego State found out, and Iowa found out. So
UConn 76-59 over San Diego State. Man, who was their leading scorer? Newton was their leading scorer with 19. They went with a short bench last night. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players didn't even register anything. They ain't got the minutes up here. Oh, that's no good. But I looked at that game last night and I dozed off to sleep on it. But I wanted to hear one shining moment. I wanted to see what version they played. But UConn was long up front. Like, their bigs rotated so well. I got excited to see their bigs rotate and go and block shots, go and grab rebounds. It's just the way they rotated, and then the way they ran the floor. I was so impressed.
Yeah, I gotta admit, man, once I saw the matchup, I didn't have that much interest, man. I thought that the two teams, I thought UConn was just gonna walk away with it. And I didn't think San Diego State had a chance. They did the best job of getting there, but sometimes when you get there, there's a capital AW waiting for you on the other end. There's a Goliath, and sometimes your David runs out of rocks to throw at Goliath, and that's what it looked like last night. They just didn't have enough rocks in the bag. So now you got UConn. Now the question becomes: does UConn, with title number 5 as a school, do they become part of the quote unquote blue bloods of college basketball? Another interesting note is the Big East, I think, has won 3 of the last 7 NCAA titles. And the Big East isn't, I know what we grew up on, but it ain't what it used to be. No. So that's even more interesting that they're able to do this in this setting, and the league isn't really what it used to be.
That's absolutely true. And we're looking at this matchup, and San Diego State messed up in the first half where they tried to come out and play UConn's type of ball instead of playing their type of ball. That's where they messed up at. And granted, this is not Big East proper. This is not Georgetown, Syracuse, UConn, Villanova, St. John's. Those were your Big East teams. And did I say Syracuse? Syracuse, and that, your proper Big East teams where you had those battles, But this is not. This is what I like to call Big East light. This is less filling, but it's less taste, but it's more filling. That's what it is. It's cool because we got the Big East, but it ain't what we used to. However, I've always considered that UConn men's basketball has always been a blue blood since the late 90s, because they've always been a top team. They've always been a team to be reckoned with, whether it's nationally or just in the conference. They've always been a blue blood, and I think they always will be.
When you say blue bloods, we talking about Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky. You know, I think if you talking about top tier 2 blue bloods, then you might be able to throw you, but not if we talking about college basketball blue blood, then I can't put UConn with Duke and North Carolina. As much as I hate Duke, you know, Kentucky and I know I'm missing a couple other ones. I'm driving, so, but I can't put them with those schools when you're talking about true blue blood, blue line schools. And to what Ben's saying, it's going to be interesting to see because we keep talking about it. Is a transfer portal going to allow them to become a blue blood school? Because, like I said, when you got 9-10 horses, and them horses 6 through 10, 6 through 11 ain't playing, they won't play, and San Diego State like, hey, you can start here, come on over, baby. So now, you know, you're not as deep. I mean, I think they would still get, you know, the recruits and stuff, but it's just going to be an interesting process to see if they can maintain this, you know, because the landscape has changed as far as how the players are allocated to these schools now.
Well, I mean, coaches have already said it, that you recruiting a kid every day to keep them A, in your program, and B, keep them engaged in the program. And I think the difference also is now those older guys, instead of them sticking around, they're moving on to somewhere else where maybe they can get a little bit better time situation because they're not sitting behind this 5-star kid here at this school. Essentially, between ESPN, Twitter, and everything else, we've just made the world smaller. And it's much easier now for you to know about a kid that's a 4-star recruit in the 3rd grade somewhere, as opposed to before where, you know, somebody had a fax a list over, or you got in an email at the beginning of the week, but you really didn't see the kids. You know, these kids are on TV. They're on some kind of media. You know, back in the day, even when LeBron came out, it was a big deal that St. Vincent was on TV every time they played. You know, we're in a different world now.
And you know what? I would hope. I wish that in the future, and when I say in the future, I'm talking starting next school year, they stop ranking middle schoolers.
That's never gonna happen.
I wish. I mean, I seen a old. I think it was Sports Illustrated. They ranked from 6th grade through 12th, the best 6th grade in the country, all the way through 12th.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but we are putting too much pressure on these kids. And then it starts becoming a recruiting ploy with high schools because, you know, let's say this kid lives in Bladensburg. He's supposed, you know, he's the best middle schooler in the country, going to William Wirt. And he's supposed to go to Bladensburg next year. And then all of a sudden, you know, because he's so good, DeMatha wants him. Bishop McNamara wants him. All the private schools want him. So now, instead of him going to his home school, which is Bladensburg, and, you know, linking up with another 4-star, 2 4-stars and something else and putting together a squad for 4 years, he's gone somewhere else. And all these, it's kind of going to kill public schools because private schools have the advantage because they have the resources, they have the curriculum, and they have the reach as well.
It hasn't killed it yet, and I don't think it will kill it because you got so many kids that don't have the access, or they're the kid that's the 3-star and the 2-star. Well, now you get a chance to shine at a school. You go somewhere with a good coach, you know, and you get somebody to develop you. Now you're being developed and you're becoming a 4-star, 5-star. Like, that's the beauty of that setup, is that these kids aren't limited to what their star is. I mean, there's so many times you hear guys at 2-star, 1-stars when didn't get offers when they left school, and now they're in school somewhere balling, or they're on some NFL team balling because they didn't stop working. It actually made them work more and work harder. So So I don't see this being a thing where we're going to stop because these kids have been doing it all their lives. They were doing it when we were growing up. It wasn't anything different. You go to a basketball gym, like maybe St. Jerome's, and you see Morgan Wooten sitting in the crowd in the back somewhere, or he come in through a side door, or you see Carol Holmes and those guys in the area. Just so it's not going to kill it because we got so many kids that are playing, and on so many levels that it's always enough talent to spread it around to wherever you go.
And GZ Dioff Ev says for tennis, for baseball, hockey, they recruit at early age. Basketball and football should be no different.
Yep.
You got a damn point. I got to give it to you there. You do have a point. You got a point. They do start early.
Good point. That's a damn good point because they start. Look at Tiger Woods. Look at Serena and Venus. You know, and it's a really, really good point. And like the Midnight Rider said, and we've seen it. We've seen it over the last 5 years, 10 years. The social media aspect of what you're getting now on sports, like you can go and a site where you can look at it, the 5th and 6th graders, I think, and what their star power is, and this, that, and the other. They're getting younger and younger. And don't forget, here's one thing that it's not even about. The sad thing to say, it's not about these kids. It's big business. That's what it's about. It's big business, and the more reach you have, the more you touch, the more money you can make. The more, just think about, like you said, KG. These schools that have a little bit more power or have a little bit more reach, actually being able to get in the ear of a 6th grader, 5th grader. That's it's crazy to think like that, but that's where we are, man. But this recruiting landscape, man, is with the internet is just a different animal.
Yeah, because you think about baseball, you looking at the Little League World Series. Some of those kids are what, 5th, 6th grade, and then you think 5-6 years later, you're talking about them in the College World Series. Oh, he played in the Little League World Series. And the next thing you know, they're major leaguers at 2021 sometimes because they're just that damn good. So, yeah, it does start early. I'll give y'all that. I will give y'all that. But once again, congratulations to the UConn Huskies. Congratulations to the LSU Lady Tigers. National champions. Live it up. And hopefully, NIL deals explode for everybody. Money all around. Next topic. NBA news. The NBA has come to a new collective bargaining agreement, CBA for those that are uninitiated. 65 game minimum to win any season awards. I like that. However, what I don't like is this tournament that's supposed to happen in the middle of the season. The Midnight Ride, I see you shaking your head. Can you explain that for us?
No, I mean, it's a tournament. I don't know what it is, to be honest with you, because again, we just talked about championship. There's the one NBA title. I don't want to go in the gym and see, oh, somebody won the early season play-in tournament when these guys barely play the games that they're allowed to play. Now you expect me to sit here and watch you play in this tournament, and you're going to turn on for this tournament that I don't know what the what's the word I'm looking for? Like what kind of value does it have? Like what are we doing? Like I feel like we're making up a title, making up something just to satisfy us. I don't even know what we're satisfying here. Like I think the league is trying to find them a money grab, to be honest with you. And this is the best they've come up with. But for me, from a league watching guys that, when you fly into a Denver and you're an East Coast team and you like, I'm going to take tonight off and you're a star player, you're doing disrespect to the game. You know what I'm saying? That's not the way you're supposed to do this. If anything, you take the night off before when if you're an East Coast guy and you're playing in Milwaukee, maybe you take the Milwaukee game off, but the people on the West only see you once a year. So why? I just don't understand. Like I feel like these guys feel so entitled that they don't understand they still have a responsibility to the game itself. And this might be old man shaking the fist at the cloud, but the only way your game grows is if you nurture it and you build young fans. Like last night, the college game starting at 9:20. I thought that was an injustice. I mean, I know it's always been that way, but part of me feels like that's an injustice because we're not letting young fans see championships won, see what it takes to win a championship. You know, Super Bowl starts at 6:30, but you got an hour at halftime. Like our kids aren't seeing some of the things that we got to see. And I understand the money element in all of this, but I think sometimes we forget how we became fans, or how I think sports forget that. And I think in 5 years, I'll say it now, I think the NFL is going to have a problem because they're going to reach a point where they've done everything to maximize the dollar that they forgot to bring the fan base along with it. And they're going to have some struggles in keeping fans and growing his fan base that they probably didn't expect or don't expect. But I think it's going to become a situation. I mean, you're already looking at now stadiums used to start going out at 90, but now they're talking about the next new stadium is 65, 70,000. That's because you got an erosion of the fan base, but also you got people that just, if I can watch it on a 65-inch TV, you know what I'm saying, 4K, but I can see the blades of grass move, I'm not really trying to come out there and pay $200, $300 for three people to watch a football game. I mean, it's just different now.
And here's the thing. This in-season tournament, I don't even like the play-in tournament too much. Because
somebody got to break down to me because I'm not up there. I apologize. I'm not up to date. What are we talking about? An in-season play-in tournament?
Okay, I'm on CBS right now. Let me read this to you. Hopefully, we can all get a better understanding. One of the most significant elements of the new CBA is the institution of an in-season tournament. We know very little about the structure, but at least for now we know it has been reported that the tournament will use pool play to determine the final 8 that will move to a single elimination tournament style. Here's the problem. There are 30 teams in the NBA, and 30 isn't divisible by 8. The NBA can't create 8 even pools. There are theoretical workarounds here, like 6 pools of 5 and 2 wildcard teams moving on despite losing within their group. Or we can acknowledge the seemingly likely a possibility that this tournament was not designed for a 30-team league, but rather a 32-team league that the NBA may one day become. Adam Silver has said that expansion is inevitable eventually, but the league's focus has been on completing the CBA and getting a new media rights deal done. Well, the CBA is done, it won't be long before the media rights deal is done too. Here's my problem. You trying to put a tournament in the season, whatever. And so what you're going to do with this tournament is you're going to chop up the season. Then you're going to have so many playoff games or playoff implicated games that really don't really mean nothing. Here we are with the participation trophy again. It's like what it is with the play-in games. So somebody's going to wind up hanging a banner for winning the in-season tournament. No, that's about as bad as the Mystics hanging the banners for winning for the attendance. Yeah, that's about on the same thing. That's on the same line. You hang banners, your banners for winning your division are smaller than your championship banners. Mm-hmm. And some teams that, I know Chicago didn't really hang division banners. All they did was hang championship banners. They never hung division banners.
I don't know about that with Chicago. They wasn't that cocky. Come on.
But no, I mean,
I probably got y'all Midwest Division or North Championship.
Let me tell you something. The Lakers don't even hang division championship.
That's different. Now, see, you're talking about an institution. It's different, son. All right. See, you're talking about an institution. You're talking about 18 titles. All right. So that's different. When you got 18 banners, ain't no room for division titles. But that's also because there's a standard involved, and when you're the standard, you don't do mediocre things.
Well, you're to be quite honest, if I can interject here, you're not the standard. The Boston Celtics are the standard.
We're the standard. How many Boston championships have you seen in your lifetime?
4.
Maybe 5. You've seen 10 LA championships, or 8, depending on your age. We're the standard. History gets rewritten sometimes.
Hold on. I've seen 11.
Okay.
No, take that back. I've seen 10.
Right. 10.
Yeah.
History gets rewritten. Every now and then, just because you start off as a standard, it's a new thing that comes in, baby.
Yeah, but you still take. Let's not even. You know what?
Just go ahead. KD, just go ahead and stop. Just go ahead and stop. Go ahead and stop.
I'm gonna go ahead and let it happen.
Let me. I wanted to touch on something you said because it's like I said. Unfortunately, I'm not up to speed on the CBA. But here's the thing with the 8 teams that they're talking about. The NBA knows that. Goodness gracious, the NBA knows that there are only 8 to 10 relevant teams in their league. That's the problem. It's not they're trying to is they're gonna expand. Nobody cares.
So
anymore. Nope.
There we go.
We lost.
Okay.
You said nobody cares.
Nobody cares about the Wizards. I'm saying that the NBA knows they only have 8 to 10 teams that people actually care about and going to watch. Nobody wants to watch the Hawks. Nobody wants to watch the Wizards, including the Wizards fans. Nobody really wants to see. I mean, just as exciting as Sacramento is, nobody cares about the Kings. There's maybe 6 to 8 teams that are relevant in the NBA, and that's the NBA's fault. Just like we talk about WWE and then pushing 1 or 2 people into the ground. It's the same thing. And just hearing this, I'm gonna have to read up on this some more so I can get a better understanding. It's just like, hey, it's on fire. Let's just put more gasoline on it. Let's give them something to look at least, because this is not the answer to the NBA's problems. It really isn't.
I agree. You know, one of the biggest takeaways from the CBA that I've read so far was this play-in tournament, but also they didn't change the age restriction for the draft. I think that should have been changed because you got too many kids that are going one and done, and they're not ready for the league. They're flailing out. They're flaming out. They're done. You know, it's no way in 4 hells a 19-year-old kid that got talked into joining the draft. They go in the second round, or they have a really, really good workout, work their way up, and they become a lottery pick, and they go to Houston. And then you never hear from them again. Because I don't know what Houston is doing down there, and you know the things that are coming out about Steven Silas, and talking about he broke down because his team wouldn't listen to him. That man just lost his damn father. Why would you write an article like that? Like, why? You know,
because they're pushing the narrative that he's not, like, they're pushing him out as a coach to begin with. But also you gotta remember, this dude's his number 1 vet's probably 26, if he's that old.
Yeah.
You know, so the league, what the league has done is managed out the old vets that would sit there, take a guy to the side, and tell you this is what you got to do. This is how you do it. You know, you talk about the Barclays. Barkley talked about Moses and those guys talking about getting the suit. What you need 4 cars for when you only drive one at a time. Damn. Stuff like that. You know, those are some of the basics. And you know, you watch shows like I watched the Knuckleheads podcast, and one of their questions is like, "What's the thing you splurged on?" And like T-Mac was like, he bought a $17 million jet. Somebody else, I think Andre Miller, like gave everybody at a party like 20 grand or whatever. And like, there are things that these guys do, and you get it, but you also got to understand that like you got to build generational wealth. Guys like Shaq, guys like Kobe tried to do. Andre Miller probably is at that point, but you know, every now and then you do something stupid, and sometimes you need somebody to rein in you stupid. Like you just can't be stupid all the time. And I think that's what's missing from this game is these guys aren't being told a standard of how this game operates. And that could be the downfall for basketball is, you know, you got these 19-year-olds that really don't care. Like Gilbert Arenas said, now if it comes from Gilbert Arenas, I mean, I'm sorry. If it was John Wall that told the guys in Houston that you shouldn't be in the league, you wouldn't be in the league the way you play basketball. But you're in Houston, and it's this situation. So then we got to talk about how does Houston fix this? Because if you get Wembayama, you know, now you got Wembayama, Suggs, you got kids. Your starting five is under 21. They can't even buy each other drinks.
And I'm not sold on Wembayama. I'm not sold on him at all. I'm just on the fence about him.
We'll see. I mean, I haven't seen enough of him, so I don't know.
And GZD off of, are they trying to model the NBA after the NCAA conference tournament, which led to seeding in the NCAA tournament? It seems that way, and I'm glad you brought that up because that is exactly what it seems like. It seems like they're trying to stretch more basketball out, but you can't.
Right. But you see, so what they're trying to do is because they've seen the NFL maximize the dollars they get. Whether it's the Thursday night package, all the different things, and they're trying to find a way where they can find something that they can hold on to get them some money in their season, you know, where maybe it's an Amazon package that goes for, you know, 200-300 million. I'm probably using small numbers in this situation, probably 2 or 3 billion, I should say, where, you know, they can add that extra money, that extra income to the coffers, because you're starting to paying guys. Like, what is it? I mean, Austin Reeves is up for a $40 million contract.
Yep. And you like, how is he worth $40 million? Not judging his worth, but his play does not say $40 million. He's young. He's just starting out.
Hold up, KG. You talking about one of the next segments. You can't get into that just yet. There's going to be a serious element, and then there's another element to that.
Okay,
so you can't talk about that just yet.
Okay, I got you. But here's my thing. The NBA has the same problem the NFL has. What did you call it? The erosion of the fan base. You know why your fan base is eroding in the NBA? Because it went from the NBA having a Sunday package when it was the NBA on NBC, but now it's the NBA on ABC. You went from having that Sunday package, whether it was a doubleheader or what, and it was good games. You either was the Knicks versus Bulls, or you know, you saw a superstar. It was always something. ABC was always Lakers versus whoever, because the Lakers used to always wear in white jerseys. That was their Sunday joint. You went from doing that, and then during the week, out in California for the Lakers and the Clippers, you had K-Cal. Here in DC, we had WDCA 20. We had HTS. We had all the not premium channels. We had the regular channels showing the games.
That's another topic, though. Because there's an erosion of the local TV networks. So I don't know if you noticed that, but there's a sports channel that was just disbanded, and it covers like 10 or 12 teams in their local market stuff. So they have to figure out either are they going to make a new local channel, or how are they going to handle that? Same thing we're dealing with now with the Commanders. The Commanders are no longer on NBC Sports Washington.
Mm-hmm.
So now they got to figure out what's going to be their local package, what's going to be their thing to drives fans and gives fan content besides their social media, or are they going to be heavy social media and heavy YouTube channels? You know, this is where I'm talking about. We're in a spot right now where between the local TV deals and some of the TV stuff, we're getting in uncharted territory.
But see, the thing is, whatever happened to the locals working together? Remember, we used to have for the basketball season. Remember, I'm showing my age. Remember, we had Full Court Press.
Right.
Football season, we had Redskins Report.
Right.
But before Redskin Report came on Saturday, You had something that would happen over on Channel 9 WUSA with Glenn Brenner or Warner Wolf. And then sometimes you would have all of those guys from all the local channels from 4, 7, and 9. You would have all of them with Sonny Jurgensen sitting out at Redskin Park doing interviews together. Because it was a thing where we all had to cover the team. Well, let's do it together. Let's be on each other's shows.
Well, now the difference is their time. I think they went from like having 5-6 minutes back in the day. They get 2 or 3. Like you're not getting, and there's another part of the erosion we're talking about. You're again not building fans because you're not showing your fans the local highlights of their teams. And when you do show it, it's so quick that they're not getting invested. Plus highlights are so, and then here's I think another part of this that we would be definitely for another show is you have so much access to highlights and videos and clips that you really need your News 4 guy to tell you what happened in the game when all I gotta do is go on YouTube, hit a button, and I got the whole game at my disposal. I got a condensed version, I got the highlight version. However you want to watch it, you can watch a game.
That's true. We are in a what is it called? An atomic age. Right. We are in the social media age. Everything snap a finger. So before we get too far ahead of ourselves, next up in NBA news, your Los Angeles Lakers, the Lake Show,
right,
are surging right now, sitting at number 7, 40-38 with 4 games to go. They have, I believe it's Indiana tonight. No, I'm sorry. They have the Jazz tonight. And they are playing in Utah as we speak.
And it's 9:15.
Huh?
There was snow in Utah. But this is where Austin Reeves comes in. I think he went to LeBron, say, let's run the offense through me. Get off your high horse. Yeah, you might be the scoring leader, but it's time for Austin Reeves to shine. You know, forget KG, because every time KG step on the court, he twists the ankle, hurt a knee. Ride with 15. And that's all we did. We've been riding the high. Huh?
You mean AD?
Nah, Austin Reeves, man.
No. You said forget about KG. No. Forget about AD because I didn't twist.
No. Oh, my bad. I thought I said AD. My bad. I'm looking at your name. My bad. Yeah, AD get hurt all the time, man. We can't depend on that. Austin Reeves is there every night. He's the new Alex Caruso. I'm joking. Seriously though, I think a couple of moves they made them better shooters. So getting the D'Angelo Russell, getting them Beasley, and then the fact that Beasley's a rebounder, I just think there's some little things in basketball where like sometimes a guy will they'll give you points without giving you points on the scoreboard. Like you can't say he scored 2 points right there, but he got that rebound that led to that outlet pass that led to that bucket down the court. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't know. I like to call them sometimes manufactured points, but I have different stuff for that. And I think
that's what's the hockey assist.
Yeah, the hockey assist, that type of stuff. But I think with the Lakers, they've just kind of settled down and started playing well. And you got, like I said, you just got some guys to fill in the holes that, and I think there was some issues. Again, I always talk about addition by subtraction, and I'm a big believer in addition by subtraction. I think your team can get better sometimes without having a good player on their team. I just always see Bryce Harper. I think that was a great case of it.
I'll agree with that because World Series. I mean, you can't beat that.
Right.
On the flip side,
can we talk about the Wiz?
Huh?
Can we talk about the Wiz?
Of course, that's where I was going. That's the flip side. Not surging is the mathematically eliminated Washington Wizards, who are playing right now. They're down 131-117 with about 3:30 to go in the fourth quarter to the Milwaukee Bucks. They are done for the season. There will be no play-in. They are sitting currently 10th in the East. Here's the problem. What are you going to do? What
problem.
Huh?
This actually works out best for them. Their only issue is going to be because there's so many teams down there at the bottom with them. How do they get to like 5 or 6 in the rankings? So right now I think they're 11 or 12, but everybody from 12 to 13 has the same record. Somebody's going to accidentally win a couple ball games. So if they just make sure they lose all their bottom 4, they can find themselves, because it's like Detroit, Houston, San Antonio, and there's one other team that has like under 20 wins, and everybody else is right around that 30 mark, that 34 to 33 mark. Mm-hmm. So the Wiz can actually, if they play their cards right and they make sure they lose out the rest of the way, they may luck into being 5 or 6 when this is all said and done. And if that's the case, that answers their all-season question. Now they just gotta hope they get lucky with the lottery ball and get themselves into the top 3 so they can get one of these kids.
Now, here's my thing. Looking at the Wizards box score tonight, Jonathan Davis leads you in minutes right now. He's played 34 minutes so far, 18 points. Kendrick Nunn played 22 minutes and has 24 points. Taj Gibson, Bradley Beal, Monte Morris, Kristaps Porzingis, Kyle Kuzma, Danny Advia, and I said Taj Gibson, and Isaiah Todd have the goose egg all the way across the board. They have not played any minutes, so they have not scored any points. They have not done anything. Here's my thing. When do you get to the point where you're tired of losing?
But they're in this situation, they're actually lucking in to losing under the right circumstances.
But
so KG, at some point, so Ted would never blow it up, right? Ted said all the time he's not going to blow it up. But you can possibly move yourself into a spot where maybe you get a top 5, top 6 talent. Now, how good is that top 6 talent? I don't know, right? But you're positioning yourself now to maybe you get one of those franchise-altering players. Because what they've done the whole time before is they end up at 12 and 13, and you've ended up with Kispert, you've ended up with Hachimura, you've ended up with Davis, you've ended up with all the Advia, you've ended up with all these kids on the fringe. So if you can see, here's the part you got to see. If you can just get lucky and fall enough, then the key is going to be what your all-season program is going to be. Because I've already heard them talking to Porzingis, him opting out, and they run it back with him. And I heard them have talks with Kuzma. I don't know if Kuzma's going to come back.
He said he wants out.
And my issue now is that I feel like Brad Beal may be the poison that's on this team. Because all of a sudden, I'm on my 4th or 5th guy that has come here and has disappeared on me. Whether it's what's the kid from last year, Spencer Dinwiddie. You had Montrezl Harrell and company. You've had a lot of guys come here, talk about, I guess the way the team is set up, what Brad wants, and now they're gone. So is he the answer or is he the issue?
Let me throw something out there. I'm going back pretty far, and let's just keep it in our lifetime. And you said 5. I'm gonna go top 10. Top 10 Bullets / Wizards draft picks from 83. Jeff Malone.
Right.
They wasted his talent here. You should have kept Jeff Malone. He should have never wound up in Utah. Dinner Bell Melvin Turpin in 84. Come on, top 10. Give me top 10. Tom Hammonds in 89. Tom Gugliotta in 92. Calvert Chaney at 6 in 93. Juwan Howard at 5 in 94. Rasheed Wallace at 4 in 95. That's 3. Vicious ass picks that you did not cultivate. Now moving into the Washington Wizards phase. Richard Hamilton in 99 at 7. Kwame Brown won number 1 in 2001. Devin Harris, 2004, who they wound up trading away. John Wall in 2010. A boy named John Vesely in 2011. Bradley Beal at number 3 in 2012. 2013, Otto Porter. Rue Hachimura at 9 in 2019. Denny Advia in 2020. And Johnny Davis last season at 10. They've had the opportunity to pick in the top 10, and they've screwed the pooch somewhere along the line.
Nah, you're right. I mean, some of that's just, I mean, because I did an article where if you look at it, like they're perennial 42 win franchise. Like you don't even have, you had your last 50 win season 78, 79, I think it is. Your best season after that is the 49 win team with Gil, and then I think you win 47 or 48. No, 49 was Brad and John, because they went that last week and didn't win. They were 1 win away from 50 and they couldn't get it.
Cost me a lunch at the College Park Diner on me because they couldn't win that. Yeah. I even lowered it to 50 and you couldn't even do that. I said that was a 60 win team.
But they've never been, well, I don't know. I think the Wizards issue is first and foremost a fundamental thing. And then secondly, it's just partially coaching, but partial because they don't have an identity of what they are or who they are. And they've never made that happen. And I talk about identities a lot, especially in football or having a type. And like if I watch a game with the Wizards, I don't know what a Wizard player look like. Everybody was trying to sell me on what's the kid? I think it was Delion Wright. And when he was out, he was the glue. He was the defensive player that did everything. And I just think they haven't been able to find the right mix. Whatever it is, their talent mix just doesn't work.
It was 2016, 2017. Because in 2015, 2016, they were 41 and 41, right? They didn't make the playoffs. But I said this team, it was injuries that year. I was like, this team can do something. They come in 2016, 2017, after they let Randy Whitman go. They win a division. They go 49 and 33. And I said to the boss, BJ, I said to Big Jim, I said to Delonte, I said to Junie, I said, yo, this is a 60-win team. And I counted off, at the end of the season, they only won 49 that year. I said, I counted off 11 games where they pissed away a win. I said, that's 60 wins right there if they would have handled the late game situation, because there's a lot of games that came down to the buzzer and they lost them because they didn't execute. I said, that's a 60-win team. They keep this team together and keep adding pieces. You might have yourself a big 3 era type of excitement, but you might actually get over the hump. The following season, the next 2 seasons, 2017 and 2018, they didn't qualify for the playoffs. They didn't even win 30 games. I'm sorry. 17 to 18, they won 43. It was 18-19. They won 20. Hurt? I believe he was hurt. They won 32, and then they won 25 the year after that. Man, come on.
Now you in the John ACL Achilles era. So that's where that came from.
Yeah. But here's the thing. We go into 2020. Or was it? Hold on. Yeah, 2020, 21. That wasn't bubble year. But they were invited to the bubble.
That was 20.
That was 20. It said it didn't.
It was 1920, I think.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. That was the bubble. And they lost 9 straight games because Bradley Beal said, no, I'm not going to play. My shoulder's too bad. But if you to play any of those 9 games, that you were invited for a reason. And you were 9th in the conference. You had a shot at making the playoffs. If they would have won at least 5 out of those 9 games, that's a playoff season. Even though you're below 500, it's a playoff season. You lost all 9 because you left them young boys by themselves. And I was so upset with Bradley Beal. Because I said, now you choose, like, dude, you've played hurt before and you're a dog. They need you. Those guys need you. And I'm going to get my shoulder worked on. See, you gave me so much grief about Bradley Beal. Not that I'm not a Bradley Beal fan. I love the dude. My problem with him is you got the green light. You got to shoulder the load. They have to follow your leader. Your lead. You have to be the leader. You got to get them to follow you. You know, for everything about Ray Lewis, what did he say? Get on my back and I'll take you there. You follow my lead and I'll take you there. That's all you got to do. You got to be the inspiration. You got to be the first one in the building for practice. You got to be the last one that leave. They got to turn the lights on your ass while you shooting. Because damn, Bradley, he out that thing getting it. You gotta set the fucking tone. If you don't set the tone, they're never gonna follow you.
I mean, I'll admit that I came into this and I didn't understand the Brad Beal dislike for you and BJ. But when I hear you guys talk, I hear the frustration. I mean, I think part of my maybe even my naivety is because I've never been invested in the Wizards, so I like seeing the home team do well. But you know, when I watch him, I think he should be the guy. You know, and if he has help, you know, they should be the team getting over the hump. But like I said, recently it just looks like there's a chemistry issue, and he's been the main thing in terms of the chemistry. So I can't really excuse him for anything because I feel like he might be part of the reason they're failing. Excuse me, part of the reason they're failing.
I feel that way, and it's like one of those. If we were talking about this around All-Star Weekend, I would say, you know what they need? They need a come to Jesus moment. Say, hey, we got X amount of games left. Let's go out there, let everything hang out, balls to the wall, and try to win every game. No matter who it is, they come into this building, they got to know they're going to lose. We got to come in there with that type of mentality, and everybody has to be on board. But what I'm asking for is foreign in today's NBA because it's a self league now. It's not a team game anymore. It's self. You know, it's about who can cross who over and hit a step back, you know, and make a nice shot to get on Sports Center. Who has the celebration? Because, you know, James Harden got the look down with his step back. Trae Young got the, you know, ice Trae. He got the shimmy. Russell Westbrook, you know, rocking him like a baby. It's always something. It's all about marketing. That's what it's about now. So what I'm saying, it seems like it's so foreign, but it's actually what needs to happen. It needs to go back to being a team game. One man, well, let me rephrase that. One man that's not LeBron James can't carry a whole team.
Okay.
So
I'm with you on that.
Staying in DC. Are you ready for Magic? Magic Johnson released a statement. He says, I want a ring in every other sport. I want me a Super Bowl ring. We put our bid in and hopefully we win this bid. And it's up to Mr. Snyder. I'm hoping that this group with Magic Johnson takes over the Commanders. Because like I said before, when his name came up, I said, that's who you want. I said, because 2 years after Magic touches anything, it always wins a championship. I'll take that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm of course, because you know Magic's my guy. I gotta temper Mike's because I don't know, but I like the fact that the group he's in, there's a good amount of ownership, experience in that group, and then I think he would be the key cog in any stadium negotiation. Whereas we were told that Bruce Allen was the soothsayer and the whisperer. But as we found out, because they kept pushing people against each other and pitting them against each other, they ended up walking away with nothing as opposed to getting the deal done for the stadium. And I think that's probably one of their biggest mistakes. And part of the reasons why Nan has to get out of here is because he's in a spot where it's going to go. And he burned all the bridges. And with his history in his ground, that burnt all the bridges. You know, the Woodrow, the Memorial, the Chickahana, whatever it is, he burnt them all. So, like, this team has to have a rebrand from an ownership. I don't rename the team. I honestly don't think you can. There's some rule, like, you can't change uniforms. It's got to be 5 years before you change uniforms. So I don't even think a rebrand is possible unless this fits in some kind of extenuating circumstance. So I wouldn't, if I'm a fan, I wouldn't get my hopes up too high on that just because of that rule that most people don't talk about. Magic to DC would be key, and I think he could be the one man that could sweet talk that council into maybe giving us back Rome. That's the only way I'm gonna refer to it. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Because we talk about it so much that when we get close to this moment where it might be reality, it's like a whisper. It just ups and disappears. So that hope is there. I don't know how much some people down there want this, but I'm gonna say that maybe they do, or maybe the what they get out of it will help them, and it'll make it easier for them, or to more palpable for them in the long run. But I think if you watch the Defenders and you watch that attitude and that energy, I think DC knows that we have something here, and the only thing that's standing in the way right now is a 5'6" or 5'5" Jewish guy that wants $6 billion. And if we can get him out of the way, we can pave a road to where this is a reality. And I think all the jurisdictions are starting to get to that point where they understand that, this is coming down, hopefully down to the end. But the way these stories pop out, it makes me nervous because I feel like Dan's doing a Dan, and he's going to dry up his market because he's pushing for every dollar, every penny, and every cent. So that's where the only hesitation comes. But yeah, like you said, 2 years in, they win rings. He said the only one I ain't got is a Super Bowl. So it's the Magic Man.
That you can't beat it, man. And see, my thing is, it's more along the lines of it's Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson, not only did he win in high school, he won in college. He won in the pros. When he retired, he won in life because he built a business empire. And I remember that Sports Illustrated did an article on what he was doing after basketball. I want to say this is after his second retirement. And they were talking about him owning movie theaters and Starbucks and things like that. And people were like, well, he shouldn't be doing none of that because he's HIV positive. He shouldn't be doing this. Who the hell cares right now? He defied the odds, and he built a business empire because of investing. And if you're not happy about seeing somebody win, whether you like them on the court or not, but you're not happy about seeing him win, I don't know what's wrong with you. It's just you're not too peoply. But I've been a fan of Magic for years. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say there's a contingency in the fan base. I don't know if they're just the vocal, but some people are like, oh, he's LA, he's not DC enough, and all this other stuff. When I hear that, I was cringing all day today. I literally was like yelling. I wasn't yelling, but I was expressing frustration because you're not thinking about see, the fan base also is very short-sighted at times when it comes to this team because they don't see the other opportunities. They don't see. They'll argue you down about Kurt not wanting to be here, Trent not wanting to be here, but you won't. They won't see that if you make the move a year sooner, you're not even having this conversation about Kurt because you didn't got that first rounder that San Francisco offered you, or you're signing him to a deal that McLaurin brought to him that was going to pay him what 13, 14 million because you only wanted to pay him 10, and most of that was out of spite. Like that's the part that I think we're going to have to understand and know that like there's actually forward thinking in football, and our fan base will constantly say, "Oh, we need to build our roster," but at a certain point, you also got to take a chance on somebody or something to get your roster there. And a great conversation was had today about the kid Hendon Hooker out of Tennessee. Like, do you draft him? Do you take a pick on him? I don't think he's going to be there in a spot where it's good for Washington to take him because I think he's going to be one of those guys. He's going to get the Lamar Jackson. He's going to be the 30th, 31st pick because the team's going to want that fifth-year option with him because you basically lose him or redshirt him this year with the knee injury. And if he's even on a 9-month cycle, you might get lucky and get a situation where you can see him the last 4 games of a season. But the perfect team is like Minnesota. I keep seeing him to Minnesota, and that makes sense because Minnesota drafted the Texas A&M kid, and he's shown absolutely nothing. They went out and got Nick Mullins to take over for him, so I know they're not happy with him. So there's going to be a point where some team is going to have to bite the bullet and look at this kid's raw ability because Anthony Richardson is the freak of this draft, but the best thrower of this draft, or one of the best throwers in this draft, is Hayden Hooker, and he's molded himself into a decent quarterback. His only issue is he's 25. He'll probably turn 26 some point during this first year. But, I mean, even if he can play 8 years, you just need somebody that can throw the ball and be dynamic.
You said something, and I got to address this. When anybody that says, well, Magic is not DC enough, name an owner in this area that's DC enough. Because Daniel Snyder's from the area.
All right.
Look at what we've been through the last 23 and a half years.
Great point.
Thinking of Jack Kent, I think he's one of the best owners in sports because he doesn't meddle.
Well, his only issue is it's like he got hockey right. And maybe it's just the stank of Le Boulay, but he can't get right with the Wiz. Like the hockey team, he got a franchise player, and I'm gonna say it now, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. The best DC sports athlete of all time is Alex Ovechkin. And if you got an argument with that, you're wasting your time. You might as well go ahead and just take a brown paper bag and breathe into it for 40 straight minutes. Because you ain't got shit to say to make that not a valid statement. So, and you can throw me your Darryl Greens, you can throw me your Sean Taylors, not even close.
No. And, if we had to make a Mount Rushmore, the first person that goes on is going to be grade 8. It's got to be
Right.
Ovi.
Well, I think he goes second, to be honest with you. And that's only because Joe Jackson Gibbs has to be first.
Oh, well, I thought we were talking players. I didn't
We
were talking players.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So, but you get the delineation.
Yeah.
Like,
I got you.
I think if anything, because of the nature of time, Joe Jackson Gibbs goes first on any Mount Rushmore DC, and then Ovechkin is next for being one of the greatest athletes. And then it gets interesting after that. Because you could throw a John Thompson on that Mount Rushmore because he put DC on the map when it comes to the Georgetown Warriors. You know what I'm saying? I know you think I hate Georgetown. I don't. I just want accountability. That's all I want is accountability for them.
And when people say somebody's not DC or they're not this, they're not that, most people that say that, you're not even DC. I get, yeah, DMV. Now, we use that tagline here because it's easy for people. It's, the new colloquially, it's the new word.
Colloquial.
Yeah, it's the new word to say, hey, we're from the area. But when it comes down to it, and if you've never rode the 70 bus, the X2, the 80, you've never rode
94, 32.
You never rode any of those DC
88.
buses. You never had to ride those buses. You know, DC don't have school buses. They ride metro buses to school. You know, you never had to ride those buses to get home. You don't know what we're talking about. You're not DC. And this is DC proper. You know, you never walked through Trinidad. If you had balls enough to walk through Trinidad 20 years ago, you DC. You know, people jog out there now, but you can't say that about these owners that are coming in, because Jack Kent Cooke wasn't DC, but he was beloved in the city. And the only reason why he didn't get a stadium deal in DC is because he had to smack Sharon Pratt Kelly on the ass. If he wouldn't have did that, we would have got that stadium deal in DC. But we coming down to it. If, as the Midnight Rider said, if we can get back to Rome, which I think Magic Johnson probably can get us back there, because number one, straight charisma. The dude's charismatic as I don't know what. But just to being able to talk, and you think about what can come out of that, if that dream can come true, and that's a dream for me. I'm not talking about anybody. That dream can come true. Whew.
This city may not even understand how to act, because even the people that aren't from here, like when they see the natives and we start coming back to some of this stuff, I mean, like when I watched the Defenders, I literally was driving in before their opener, and I listened to the radio, and you could feel the heartbeat in that moment. I was like, it takes me 40 minutes to get home. I listened to a 40-minute pregame show on an XFL game. Then I sat here and watched the game. And when they exploded and threw them lemons up, man, I was like, they got something. They got something. You know, and the only reason they lose last week, they lost on a field goal. Missed field goal in the last seconds. But it's so much potential here. And you can turn this could turn that pendulum so quickly, because you don't have a lot of kids engaging. And the one thing that I want this group to do is, there was one moment this year that really upset me when it came to the Commanders. And I watched the Baltimore Ravens recognize my alma mater, Archbishop Carroll, for their title in DC. That spoke so many volumes. It spoke to how much this team in this area this team and this organization doesn't get it. That's ours. It's in DC proper. That's ours. We gotta go back to recognizing these coaches, these kids. Because that's the way you build your brand. You don't build your brand off of some kid in London or anything like that. You build your brand off that kid that goes to Sousa, the kid that goes to, if Kramer exists, or Jackson, even any of the schools in the city, and any of the schools even close by in Maryland. But you build that because you make them fans. You see, the problem this organization has always had is one problem: they never felt like they felt like if they gave you something, they needed something back. And the thing is, the truest reciprocation of you giving them something is the fact that they've been loyal fans no matter what. But you was too busy trying to see the monetary response from that you didn't understand that emotional response would have been so much greater and lasted a longer lifetime. I'm off my soapbox. I'm sorry.
You know, I was going to come back with a rebuttal. I ain't even got nothing to come back with. I'm not even going to say nothing, because we got to end it on that note, because that right there was just powerful. That was powerful. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you for commenting. As you say what?
I said we really ending on that. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
man. I learned something a long time ago from a pastor I grew up with. She said when you got a guest preacher and they come in there and they burn it down, she said there's no rebuttal. She said all we can do is do the benediction and get on about here. She said I'm not doing nothing else. I ain't got nothing to say. He said it all. The Midnight Rider has said it all, ladies and gentlemen. So like, subscribe, follow us on all our platforms, but just make sure you back here on Thursday because we're gonna do it all over again. So until next time, that's the Midnight Rider. I'm the big guy KG. For the boss BJ who was here tonight, we don't do no overtime. We are out of here.